Welcome to Finding Monster Right, the show about finding monsters. Right?
Right.
Oh, damn it. Every week. Every week. Did we get it right last time? I don't even remember.
Not last time.
I like how
the one time we got it right, it was accidental.
Us getting the intro wrong is the new intro.
I am Adam.
And I'm the hoppiest kid on earth, because today we are talking about frogmen.
Yes, as we've delved across all known monsters in folklore and in fiction, we have gone in episode 5 to what some people might say is the bottom of the barrel.
Others might say the bottom of the barrel is the best place to be. It's where all the frogs are.
Yes, it's a great place to be if you change the temperatures slightly.
Yeah, what? Oh, I get it. Yeah, that one's a thinker.
So, yes, throughout myths and legends, frogs and humans have traveled hand in hand, or hand in ribbed hand.
That's not what that means. What?
What are the, before we started this episode, you shared with me several key articles when it comes to notable frog people.
Yeah, it's almost like I had to convince you that this wasn't the stupidest idea.
Yes, that it was on the map.
Yes. Well, the first thing I linked you to was the TV trope page for frogmen, which honestly, a little sparser than I thought it would be, and I'm not sure why. I don't know what part of me wanted to believe in frogmen, but here we are.
So I think our biggest expertise point with frogmen is the D&D, not races, but D&D assortment of monsters.
Yeah, there's 3 kinds of frogmen in D&D. I'm also saying frogmen just because it's the most fun to say.
Yeah, frog replaces Hugh.
Yeah, frog replaces Hugh. Then it would be frogmans.
Yes, but let's go through each of them and give them and describe them to our audience in this auditory medium.
Right. So, one particular frog is the bullywug.
A bullywug is bipedal, walks on 2 legs, but they're still kind of messed up, weird old frog legs. My brain is telling me that they're 2 feet tall.
They are medium-sized, which, Jesus Christ, that is the size of a person.
That's like 4 foot.
That's like at least 4 foot, and at most, 8 foot, I think, is the...
Yeah, honestly, the way they strike me as on the shorter end of the spectrum.
They strike me as on the higher end of the spectrum and terrifying.
Yes, so...
They do have a challenge rating of 1/4. Though, which would put them at the same level as just your basic first kind of monsters. They have spears and stuff. They live in a tribe in a swamp, and maybe they steal stuff from a village. Just like cut and dry first monster, except they when they close their eyes, their eyeballs push their food down their throat.
Yeah, picture a frog, if you will, and now take that frog head and put it on the body of a gross human.
Ew, gross. What's this frog head doing on me?
Yeah, and then you've got a bullywug. And yeah, carrying around spears, tribal gear, and whatnot.
My conceit for this episode, my pitch, was frog people, warts and all. And my conceit is, we're going to go through every kind of frogman that I've found, and talk about how much they offend our delicate sensibilities.
What kind of spectrum do you want to make to rate these froggy folk?
You know what? Relative. So the bullywug ranks 1 bullywug. And then we will...
Oh, okay, yes. I love the Amazing Spider-Man scale.
Yes. And this is something that I have to explain every time it's brought up. The Amazing Spider-Man was at one point the most 5 out of 10 movie I've ever seen, so I decided, you know what? All movies are either as good as or worse than, or better than The Amazing Spider-Man, the 2011-12 movie starring Andrew Garfield.
So you'd be like, Avatar. That's like a
Avatar, which Avatar?
Avatar.
Doesn't matter. 0 Amazing Spider-Mans.
Yeah, right. So yeah, 0, 1, and 2 is the scale. So Bullywug is our 1, our standard froggy man.
The funny thing is, though, The Amazing Spider-Man, because of inflation, now ranks as 0 Amazing Spider-Mans. Because I no longer think it's as good as I thought it once was.
I'm excited for you to watch it again and then be more forgiving. So that, again, for inflation, it has returned to one's Amazing Spider-Man.
Also, I might not know what inflation means. So, our next D&D specific frog monster that I can find in Volos is the Grungs. Adam, do you know what a grung is? Have you run into a grung in D&D at all?
A grung. So Facebook, not Facebook, the internet, my Facebook, is telling me that grungs are more of the cute, adorable, like poison dart frog sized, or shaped, I should say, shaped frog people.
That is true. They are also lawful evil.
Oh no!
They are lawful evil. They live in a deeply xenophobic and racist caste society where different colors of grung are superior to the others, and they have very, like, cartoony little baby proportions that are, like, very Baby Yoda, kind of, except they also have spears and knives.
Baby Yoda, but, like, lose the ears, be, like a little more frail, and then, yeah, with weapons. So that is terrible.
You know what's funny, though? The reason poison arrow frogs are poisonous is because they eat this certain kind of ant. Like, poison arrow frogs in captivity don't get poison.
Huh. That's almost like the like the plague things that lived on the plague rats. It wasn't the rats.
Rats are innocent. Justice for rats. So, Adam, where would you put grungs relative to bullywugs on offending your delicate sensibilities?
I know they're evil, but I love them, so they're like a 2.
Honestly, these are also like some very low CR, like first monster out of the box kind of enemies. Oh. And that part of my heart belongs strictly to goblins. So they are my garbage children, and I live with them in a garbage jump, and I love them. So I can't give grungs that spot of my heart, and without that bias, I have to say that they are worse than... No, they're better than bullywugs because they're more colorful. Next monster.
Yes, moving on here to... Yes. Honestly, I think I know of a 4th D&D monster that you may not have mentioned.
Oh?
The Froghemoth?
The Froghemoth.
A Froghemoth says it's a frog. Is the color of a frog, but is a bipedal, many-tentacled, big old bad boy.
He did eat our lizard friend that one time. Our mutual lizard friend.
So a Froghemoth kind of looks like the plant from Little Shop of Horrors, except add like an eye stalk and a bunch of tentacles.
Really doesn't look a whole lot like a frog, to be honest. It's just kind of wet. Which, again, folk taxonomy.
Mm-hmm. He's got a big old tongue, swallows people, and very, very unfriendly.
I'm gonna be honest. I have to rank this lower than I have to rank this as the lowest possible option so far.
Yeah, I will agree that Froghemoth is our bottom line, our 0 bullywugs.
0%. Actually, wait. I should pull up an Excel document. Hey, are you afraid that this D&D talk is a little alienating to some people?
Yes, and I'm not just saying that because we're looking at aliens.
We are looking at aliens because the next thing is an extraplanar creature from the plane of limbo, and that is the slods, or the proper plural is slotty or slady. Really, it depends on whoever's saying it, but I like saying slotty because of that one song from like the early 2010s.
Yeah, a slot.
Slotty like a melody in my head that I can't keep out. Got me singing like, hey, na 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 na, every day. It's like some frogmen from a frog plane.
Yeah, very good.
Thank you. I've got Weird Al on the line.
The slotty of Limbo are kind of definitely the most human shaped of the ones that we've seen so far.
I have to disagree. These are some freaky shapes.
Yeah, but they've got long limbs. I guess that's what I'm getting at.
Oh.
Long limbs, very bulky, and they... I want to say their head's a little more whale-shaped, if that makes sense.
It's kind of more frog-shaped. I don't see the whale in them.
Big-mouthed, I guess is what I'm getting at. But lots of teeth.
Common, yeah.
Very grim and menacing. None of these slotty are happy to see you.
Absolutely not. No, all they want to do is perpetuate their weird caste system and their weird method of reproduction that involves xenomorphing a tadpole into your chest.
Long claws, bad for handshakes and hugs.
Awful for handshakes and hugs. And unlike most D&D monsters, looking at this art, I don't wistfully think that I can change any of them to not be monsters anymore, which is the reason I started this podcast. So I can't rank these very highly.
They got to be a 0 bullywugs for me, because they've lost their froggy jumping abilities in favor of weird reproduction and danger.
Okay, don't say weird reproduction and danger, because that makes me that gets me in that position I was just talking about earlier. But yeah, I gotta rank them as worse than the frog Hemoth.
Yeah, down the list.
Yeah. No. I'm ranking all of them relatively, but not by like number of bullywugs, but by just on a list, just relative to each other.
I mean, they're cool. If they were like a Pokemon, I would catch them.
Sure. They also have a gem in their head that if you take it out, lets you control them. So I think you can catch them in D&D too. Yeah, they're a neat extraplanar entity. I would use them as enemies in maybe like a downed spaceship and in like an exploration to the barrier peaks or whatever type adventure, but I wouldn't want to be their friend.
Let's branch off the D&D stuff and talk a little bit more about our world.
Yeah, and by our world, I mean ancient Egyptian mythology. Something you and I are both very qualified to talk about.
Yes, being an ancient Egyptian myself.
Yes. I'm not Spanish, I'm Egyptian.
Yeah. Classic Egyptian that lived in Spain and has a Japanese sword with a Scottish accent.
Well, okay, yeah. We're talking about Highlander, the movie Highlander. If you don't know what that is, go watch it. It's not a great movie, but Mr. Krabs cuts off a lady's head. It's good. It's not a great movie, but it is a great movie.
Yes. It is 2 Amazing Spider-Men. To go back to our previous scale.
You know what? It might be 3.
Oh, whoa.
I have altered the terms of the scale.
So talking about Hecate, correct?
Yes. This is the first frog-human hybrid that I uncovered in my archaeological findings and wisely decided to just open the sarcophagus of and accept the curses that might befall upon me. Guess what? The curses are frogs.
Hecate is the Egyptian goddess of fertility and is frequently represented in the form of a frog.
Yeah, and she, I found some images of her with a frog head, like, how ancient Egyptian art is sometimes.
Yeah, like the ancient aliens and how they previously experimented with putting animal parts on humans.
Right, exactly, yeah. That's something that the aliens did, because, sure.
That's what they were for, of course. It's not like how we have talking animals in kids' fiction today.
Well, actually, SpongeBob was aliens, too.
Ah, yes.
Except the aliens just kind of stopped after, we invented science, I guess.
After aliens peaked with the SpongeBob movie, they kind of they hired a different director and they It kind of went downhill fast.
Yeah. Another interesting thing about Hecate is that this name is romanized as Hequet, and what I'm reading, what I've read in various ancient texts, and certainly not the Wikipedia that I just have pulled up like any of you people could, is that her name is also the origin of the name of Hecate, the Greek goddess of witchcraft, who is in Macbeth.
Correct.
Yeah.
Which is some real, I don't know, like, how true to it is, but mythological synergy. How, Hecate, god of frog, and Hecate, goddess of witchcraft. It's, witches historically turn people into frogs. There's
true.
There's some real, I'm curious if there's any, like, true line between those two in terms of, or if it's just a coincidence.
Well, I'm afraid that's beyond the scope of my expertise, because all I know about this goddess is that she is a frog sometimes, and she has a Wikipedia article.
Her association with frogs has to do with the flooding of the Nile, I believe, and there's some, I believe there's some tie into that and kind of the plagues of Egypt type stuff. So
certainly,
yeah, it's curious how I never personally tied frog to any particular region or like belief system. It's like, as in, like, okay, like the eagle is definitely a North American symbol. It's like, I can see it in even Native American imagery, a great big bird, and so forth, that kind of soars across the land, showing off the kind of wide and open landscape, and so forth. And there's other animals that I like, tie to certain regions and areas. I never go, Egypt, deserts, pyramids, Nile, frogs.
Speaking of Native Americans, I actually, this isn't in my official list here, but I read a book about, like, Native American legends in, like, grade school. That was like this one adventurer who went up to kill this. He was wondering why this river was so polluted, and he went up and he killed this big frog that was sitting at the head of the river and poisoning it. And on the way, he found, like, this village of frog people, kind of like bullywugs. And I wasn't able to find out what myth that was in my frantic Googling. If anybody is an expert on Native American stories, probably from the Northeastern Woodlands region, let me know. Anyway, where would you put Hecate on our scale here? Does Hecate offend your delicate sensibilities at all?
No, she's definitely on the lighter side.
I'm going to put her above Grungs just because she does not seem evil.
Yeah, if I were to deal with a frog, I would enjoy one that had the body that was mostly similar to my own.
Yeah, for sure. So, our next, jumping around a little in history here, I'm going to jump ahead to the Frog Prince story.
Yes, from Grimm's Fairy Tales.
I think the idea behind Grimm's Fairy Tales is that it's like a collection of just kind of folklore stories.
And usually the goal of them was to kind of tell your kids not to go into the woods at night. Or
right.
at all. Yeah.
So my question is, would you, if you were a 19th century German child, go into the woods at night after reading about all the hot, sexy frogs in your area?
Yeah, I do not think that would be very productive for me not making out with frogs.
Would you be like an Augustus Gloop, but with frog sex, and in the 1800s?
What's crazy is that frog sex isn't the grossest part of that statement. It's the word gloop.
Either way, somehow you also get sucked up a tube while orange people sing at you. It's the darnest thing.
Yeah. So I actually, seeing this on the list, I was I looked at the plot summary or the Frog Prince, and I thought there was an extra story there. Like, you ever look at the Hans Christian Andersen story for The Little Mermaid?
Yeah,
You'll see some some crazy junk about her turning into foam and bad stuff. But yeah, Prince and the Frog. It's what it says on the tin. It's the story that you think it is. Except sometimes there's a golden ball involved.
A golden ball. She drops a golden ball into a pond, and then
makes friends with a frog.
Makes friends with a frog. The frog. Okay, wait. Hold on. I was confused because I thought that a prince was turned into a frog, like Beauty and the Beast style. That is not the case. This is a frog that turns into a man when he meets a human woman that he likes. Because she dropped a gold ball into a pond.
Yep. So the neat thing about it is that kissing the frog to trigger it, that's like a late edition. That's a modern version.
What the fuck, though?
Yeah, Grimm was just saying, yeah, she just threw the golden ball against the wall, and then the frog was a person again.
What does that have to do with literally anything? Also, in other early versions, it was sufficient for the frog to spend the night on the princess's pillow.
Yep. Hang on, citation needed. We're looking at the same article here.
Yeah. Okay, citation needed, yeah. No, yeah, that might not be true.
A little sketchy.
Also, is that grosser than just kissing it?
Honestly...
I think in a broad sense it is.
Yeah, kissing's like a, 5-second ordeal.
Sure, yeah.
A little peck on the lips, and the frog is down for it too. I think that in real life the hard part was getting the frog to cooperate.
I think, if the frog has sentience and can talk, then it's probably fine.
You need the frog's consent.
Honestly, I don't think you need to kiss the frog on the lips. I think you just need to kiss its head like you were kissing a cat or something.
Mm.
You know how you're always out there kissing cats?
It's my favorite thing to do.
Yeah, just like that.
So honestly, of our kind of disgustometer here, just a regular frog you kiss once and now is a full regular human adapted to the world. That's no problem.
Isn't it though?
Yeah. So the pillow version is pretty bad, but yeah, no, that's beyond. Okay, so I guess are we ranking these in terms of frogginess?
No, we are ranking these in terms of how much they offend our delicate sensibilities. Why don't you just get in touch with your delicate sensibilities? Maybe this is the problem.
This is the first amphibian that I have to make out with.
Yeah. You know what? I've got an idea.
Okay.
What if we explored our delicate sensibilities by means of sketch?
Yeah, how are you? Okay, what are you thinking?
We do a sketch where one of us is the princess and the other is the frog, and we figure out at what point it's weird. We figure out, at what point in this magical bargain does it become kind of weird, and how offended are our delicate sensibilities as a result?
Yeah, give it a shot.
All right, princess or frog?
I kind of want to be the princess.
Okay, I will be the frog.
Okay. Oh, time to polish off my gold ball. Good, just heading down to the river. On, Sprinkles! That's my horse. I have one.
Wait, you should be the horse. Yeah, you do a better horse.
Down to the river. Ah, yes. Won't get my petticoat messy.
Rip it.
I can't wait to be a pawn in my father's political schemes.
Ribbit.
Oh, hello there, Mr. Frog.
Ribbit, hey.
Oh, that was a word.
ASL.
Oh, like 17, but pretty 16. Not gonna lie.
Well, I'm 4, so that's fine.
Lady of the castle.
Ribbit, tight, I'm a frog prince.
L is I'm you don't need to know that one.
Well, you've answered my riddles 3, and I guess that means we have to make out.
Whoa, you're a frog.
Yes, but if you make out with me, or maybe just put me on your pillow, or let me touch your boobs, I will turn into a prince. What was that last one? I forget already.
Well, I see that my future and how I choose to live it is not going to be determined by my father, but instead a gross stranger.
Yep.
I'm batting even. This is exactly what I expected. So I have no problem with this.
Remember, women don't have agency, but frogs do.
Hang on, if you're, it's one thing to kiss a weird swamp creature.
And what a thing it is.
You have to neg me too.
Hey, I'm not negging you. You're negging yourself. You're really bad at it.
I guess you're right. Okay. Yep. That's life is tough for a princess.
Wait, we didn't finish. No, he's still. You know what? That frog prince deserves to stay a frog. Let's not finish the sketch. No, I'm perfectly okay with that. Where would you put it then? Because I started that sketch. I started that sketch more thinking like this is a gross idea, but then it kind of, I think, being in the frog princess situation didn't help.
I put him like second, right under Hecate's, because the frog doesn't choose what it is. It's a story about who you are underneath.
That's really true. Yeah.
So it's like, it's don't judge a book by its cover. Sometimes princes have warts.
That's striking a chord. Okay. Frog Prince, number 2, right under Hecate.
I have
Frog
one
Prince better than Hecate, though.
So I have one for you that was not on the list.
Okay.
Wart from Super Mario 2.
Wart from Super Mario 2.
You can quick search Wart Mario to see who I'm talking about. The original Super Mario Brothers 2 was a port of Doki Doki Panic, a separate game, but Mario was doing great, so they slapped the Mario faces on all the characters. Instead of Bowser, the main antagonist is a big frog king named Wart.
Huh.
So there's 2 things I know about Wart. 1, he might only exist in a dream world.
Me too, yeah.
2, he doesn't like vegetables.
Same.
But yeah, this is what he looks like. He's kind of he's a little more rotund. He's got a very Bowser-like body shape, just a little plumper, and he's a frog with a crown and a purple cape.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So, what are your thoughts on Wart? Just first glance.
Well, my first thought is he's kind of like an elaboration on the Frog Prince, right?
Oh yeah, he's like a full frog king.
Yeah.
Except
is he the Frog Prince's dad?
Honestly, no. You know what I'd say is that if you kiss the frog, but he's like a gross lecher, like we might have discussed, he becomes kind of like Beauty and the Beast style. He is a beast in full form.
Huh. Oh, I see. So if you had kissed my character in that sketch, then it would have turned into this, and not a prince.
Because his heart isn't true.
Also, I guess you were Princess Peach? That particular princess.
She's in this game.
I can't believe they didn't connect those dots. Well, I must say that he really offends my delicate sensibilities.
He's pretty... I like him in a cool way, but I would not want to spend time with him. And, I think I don't want to see what's underneath his cape.
I'm going to put him under Slods.
That's real low.
Yeah, because here's the thing. The Slods, they're just evil and crazy. This guy's just gross. He's just a big Trumpy frog guy. I don't like him.
Okay, I can get behind that. All right, so another frog man occurred to me. There you go. It looks like we got at least 2 more on the list.
All right. Wait, are you saying you have another, or
nope.
Just you were
I'm
afraid?
saying let's go on.
Okay, well, too bad because I've got another frog man that I've just remembered.
Who is it?
Toad from X-Men. Not Toad from Mario.
Yeah, no, that's exactly where my head went.
That's confusing. Anyway, Toad from X-Men.
He's a man, but he has toad features.
He has toad features. He has a big tongue that comes out. I've only ever seen the X-Men movie, and so that's what I'm going to base my knowledge of Toad on, instead of anything, like the comics or something. He was played by Ray Park, who played Darth Maul.
Which, there's a great deleted scene from The Phantom Menace where he drops his two-handed lightsaber and starts licking Qui-Gon Jinn.
And he doesn't have a big tongue either.
No, it's very weird. The 2000s were a tough time.
Yeah, and he's also the target of the one much maligned line from Storm, where she says, "Do you know what?" Okay, so the way that this was originally intended and the way that it came across in the finished film, very different. The way that the line that Storm uses to kill Toad is "Do you know what happens to a toad that's been struck by lightning? The same thing as everything else."
Yes, right. It's wonderful. It's terrible. It's a good time.
Hang on, I think there's a way to deliver that joke well, and I will not end this podcast episode that has not yet reached its allotted runtime. But I will not end it until we figure out how to read that line well.
Here, pitch the first half to me, and I'll give it my best shot into how to end it.
Okay. Do you know what happens to a toad that's struck by lightning?
The same thing that happens to everything else? Zap.
Zap. Wow. He was right. Yeah.
It's just a question mark is how you need it. That's a little more, what do you call it? That's a little more Tony Stark than...
Wait a minute.
2000s X-Men.
Wait a minute. Okay, hold on. Let's do that call and response again.
Okay, I'll give it to you.
All right.
Do you know what happens to a toad when struck by lightning?
Okay, no, wait. I want it to be Storm.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Do you know what happens to a toad that's been struck by lightning?
The same thing that happens to everyone else?
Smart. Zap.
Yeah,
but, the sound effect is much better.
All right. Yeah,
all right. I think we nailed that.
I just want to say, it'd be great if Toad was like, "Oh yeah, you're right. That would be bad."
Huh, I'll be good now.
But regardless, yeah, on track here. He's got a long tongue. That's his thing. That's his mutant power. He also has superhuman agility, and he can kind of excrete venom.
Gross. I think he was in First Class as well, or was it Days of Future
Days
Past?
of Future Past.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
They fit like every X-Men that they could into Days of Future Past.
Yeah. Days of Future Past is like one of the good half of X-Men movies.
Mm-hmm. Half? The good third?
Yeah, good point.
I mean, not to be picky, I generally think that most of them are One Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's probably fair.
Even X-Men Origins Wolverine, I don't watch it and be like, "Oh, it hurts me." I'd be like, the first time I watched this, I was 13, and it was great then. It's fine.
I mean, it wasn't ever great, but who cares? It's a movie. Who gets mad? That's the thing. The only bad thing I can say about the movie is that it offends me as a comic fan that they would get Will.i.am so wrong. Will.i.am in the comics is a member of the Black Eyed Peas, and that is not the case in this version.
I remember too much of that movie for no good reason. I'm like, oh yeah, the mutant with the light bulb carnival scheme. Classic.
Absolutely no recollection of that.
And Deadpool sword mirrors.
If there's a movie where Deadpool is even more annoying than he is in Deadpool, you've messed up. All right, so where would you put Toad on our scale?
I don't like his tongue. I don't like his tongue. Right underneath the bullywug is where I'd put him.
I am gonna put him right over Frog Prince because I like that tongue.
I don't know what happens now.
You don't have to respond to that. All right, so our next frogman is bringing it back to somewhere classy, Adam, is the Vadoyanoi.
Vadoyanoi.
Kind of sounds like something Doodlebob would say.
Vadoyanoi.
Yeah.
Actually, that does remind me, not Doodlebob, but I tried, so lycanthropy is, in D&D terms, when a human contracts something that turns them into a were creature.
Yes.
In I think etymologically, it's specifically human wolf. It's from lycan, which is Greek wolf, and anthro and stuff like that on the human side. I looked at what it might be if you're a werefrog, if you turn into a frog, what that word is.
What is the Greek word for frog?
It's vatranchos. Or something like that.
Vatranchos.
So, yeah, it'd be...
Zorro's greatest enemy.
It'd be vatranthropy.
Vatranthropy. Why do I say that like a vampire? Are vampires
Vatranthropy.
Vatranthropy.
Yeah, specifically. But on track, this is not a Greek creature. This is from Slavic mythology.
Yes, this is. I was very into Slavic mythology in college at a certain point because I figured like this is my ancestors' religion. I should know more about this.
And I've been playing The Witcher.
And Adam's been playing The Witcher,
which is great if you want to be sad.
It really is, isn't it?
Yes, but they're usually naked old man with a frog face.
Naked old man with a frog face. And the big thing about the Vadoyanoi is, like, the Vadayanoi is, like many Slavic creatures, its job is to be in charge of rivers. They're very big on rivers and lakes and things in Slavic mythology, and this is no different. If you are nice to the Vadoyanoi, he will lead fish towards your nets, and you will have, like, a nice little symbiotic relationship. And if you are mad with the Vadoyanoi, he will break your dams and wash down your water mills and drown people and animals. Yeah,
he some of him appears to me like a kind of more of a river-based siren.
Well, like a siren, but instead of, like, luring people in, he just kind of grabs people who are there and takes them to be his slaves underwater. Presumably, he has a way to make that work.
You're right. They don't really get into... let's explore that for a second here. Does he, like, have, like, kelp bindings, or... like, does he just kind of say, all right, you, please lift up these rocks and look for small creatures for me to feast on, and don't swim away. Like, what methods does he use to keep people underwater enslaved?
I mean, I guess he just has to keep track of all of them and catch them if they try to swim back up, which would be all of the time, so I don't know how he could have more than, like, one person at a time. Yeah,
this is where you get someone like Warts into play here. Wart would be a great Vadoyanoi. Because he would just, like, make vegetable machines and imprison people in bubbles and stuff.
In the Russian North, it is believed that Vadoyanois, which I don't think that's the proper plural, Vadoyanoiak, have a ruler. He is an old man, armed with a club.
You know it's Slavic mythology when their ruler is described that way. He's always got a club. I don't know, he's the best.
He can rise into the sky sitting on a black cloud and creating new rivers and lakes. His name is the Tsar Vodnik, or the Vodnyan Tsar. Which, it doesn't mention that he's a frog.
No,
he's just an unrelated old man with a club who can fly in the sky, and the frog old men were like, you know what? That's good enough for me.
That information is presented in the wrong order.
Like, shit, he has a club.
Yeah, shit, he has a club.
These are people that keep people underwater with kelp. Like, they can be impressed by clubs.
Sure. So slavery is wrong.
Good point.
I'm inclined to rate this guy pretty low.
The Grungs also do slavery, I think. And you ranked them very highly, but this is an old man and not a cute baby Yoda. This is like regular. This is what the grunts turn
Yoda.
into. This is regular Yoda.
Yeah, Slavic Toda gets like a below a 1 for me, so he's lower than a Bullywug.
I will put him just above Bullywugs. I think he's I think like he can be reasoned with, and that's cool. And he's kind of a big swamp creature, so like I don't hate him. I'm actually going to put him just under the Frog Prince and right above Grungs. He
vapes, which is pretty cool.
He also vapes. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and I think it says here they in their spare time play cards, smoke pipes.
Oh,
so yeah, he's like kind of like Uncle Iroh of frog people.
That's not bad. Honestly, the picture of him in this what looks like this illustration from 1934 on the Wikipedia page.
Mm-hmm.
He looks very wise.
Yeah, although the 1910 illustration is very bad.
The 1910 illustration that's on here is very bad. Nothing about this is good.
Yeah, it looks like a large homeless man's in a river pulling a man to his death by his beard.
That actually happened once. Our next monster is not really much of a frog. It's Gollum from Lord of the Rings.
Not a frog.
That's not a frog. No,
Zero. He lives in a damp place, but he's similar to a hobbit, and like I guess he bends his legs frequently. But
don't we all?
Don't we all do that?
Yeah, he was listed as frog-like under the Wikipedia article or the TV Tropes Frogmen page, one of those two.
Adds to my theory of the TV Tropes Frogmen page. Grasping at a couple straws there.
Grasping at straws. I'm not even going to rank Gollum. I don't think he counts.
I agree.
Does not count in the frog hierarchy. He's not welcome in Frogland.
Let's hop right on.
All right. Our next creature is a side character in The Silver Chair, the 4th published book in the Chronicles of Narnia. Now, Adam, have you read the Chronicles of Narnia or The Silver Chair? Have you watched the first movie?
Yes.
Okay.
We've watched the first movie together.
I don't remember that. It came out many years ago.
Yes, we got it at Costco.
That sounds believable so far. Anyway, this particular side character in this movie is a character named Puddleglum, and he is a marshwiggle. He is very long and gangly and does kind of swamp people things. He's like 7 feet tall and kind of has like a Scarecrow Wizard of Oz vibe. And he's got webbed feet, and he swims, and he doesn't like the cold, which is unusual because they go north into the mountains in this one.
Yeah, he's very, very... I guess he's got some froggy tone to him. He's like... he's the most man-frog ratio that we've had so far.
Really? Because if you're looking at just the picture on the Wikipedia thing, that's not a very good representation.
I'm going through all Google images, and he is infrequently froggy.
Really? The illustrations that I have in my book that I read when I was a kid are very froggy. Or maybe I was just focused on the feet.
Yes, his feet are frog-like. So he's got froggy feet, he does swamp stuff, and he's got webbed appendages.
Yeah, and he's a guide. He's kind of like, he's a little cowardly, but he's a guide to children and stuff, and that's nice.
You said a little cowardly? What other personality traits would you give him?
It's a children's book. There are none.
Okay, so just cowardly.
He's a little cowardly. He's not very cowardly, but he is a little.
I think that's pretty good for, that's very froggy.
Yeah.
You ever go down by the pond, and there's a bunch of frogs there, they all hop into the water when you're... a little cowardly.
Yeah, stand around a little and they kind of warm up to you.
I say I put him somewhere in the middle.
I'll put him high. I will put him high because...
Okay. I learned something pretty late about this ranking system. Is that my vote does not matter.
Okay, wait. I thought you were keeping track of your own votes.
Oh.
I've got an Excel sheet up.
Yeah, sure. I can put them on the list here.
Okay, good. And then we'll just average our rankings and come up with a very scientific result.
I've not been. I'm not giving. Well, I'll defer to yours.
Okay.
I'm not. Yeah.
All right, let's decide if we like Puddleglum more than Hecate, because I think the things with Hecate were that she was like all right and like not a monster so much.
She's a goddess and she does witchy stuff, and she's Egyptian. Those are three better features than what Puddleglum has going for him.
I don't trust gods. It seems like that's going to be a lot of sacrifices and stuff, and just doesn't seem worth it. Real hassle. Puddleglum is just like, I just want to live in the swamp and dab sometimes alone.
I guess I'd rather be like a warlock than a guy with a weird friend. As in, like, have like a patron, like a god, like a let's make things interesting.
When you put it that way, I guess. Can we at least put it above Toad?
Yes, above Toad.
Well, Toad is very low for you.
Yes.
Yeah. So okay. So our next monster is a creature called a type of creature that has, it's from a story by H.P. Lovecraft, or in the Lovecraft universe, by Frank Belknap Long. And they are a creation of the great old one, Chognar Faun, and they are called the Miri Nagiri. And they are kind of frogs that are uplifted to look like people by an elephant great old one type creature. And what's scary about them is that they're not people. That's it.
It's kind of like the Frog Prince gone wrong. Then
it's kind of like the Frog Prince gone wrong. Sure. Honestly, this is my big deal with H.P. Lovecraft. Is like all of this shit is not scary.
Yeah, I'd rank him pretty low. I don't even want to get into them.
You know what? Fair. Yeah. I'm going to rank him below the Bullywug, but above the Frog-E-Myth, because, like, you know, it fails my test for if I want to include a D&D monster in something, which is the who gives a shit test. If I ran into this monster in a dark alley, and my reaction is anything but, who gives a shit, then I include it.
Alright, is there one more froggy boy on our list?
There is one more frog creature, and it is on our list specifically because I want to uncover a conspiracy here.
Alright,
this is a creature called the Loveland Frog. And this is our first, I think, cryptid on the show.
Does the Philly Fanatic not count?
No.
Does Paul Bunyan not count?
No.
Yes, this is our first cryptid.
I think that was a very fair line of reasoning.
Yes, Loveland Frog. In Ohio folklore, which is, I love it. I love any folklore that's like under 100 years old.
In Ohio folklore, which also nothing happens in Ohio. So yeah, anyway.
It's like 5 years later my dad was born from when this first creature's first sighted.
This happened 5 years after my mom was born.
Right.
So, the Loveland Frog is a legendary humanoid frog, described as standing roughly 4 feet or 1.2 meters tall, allegedly spotted in Loveland, Ohio. Well, it was certainly spotted. The alleged part is not that someone saw it, it was whether or not it's real. Cryptids
are also traditionally scary monsters, am I not wrong? I mean, they don't have to be, but a 4-foot frog's not, like, terrifying.
That's pretty terrifying.
I don't know about that.
In D&D, that's not scary. In real life, yeah, it's pretty scary.
Well, what can it do? It can hit you with its tongue and try to eat you?
It might have teeth.
If it has teeth, that's scary. But if it's just a frog that's that big, I'm not too scared.
Well, okay. But here's the thing. It's not a frog.
Oh.
So, the way that the frog met its end was 2 weeks after the first sighting on March 3rd, 1972, by a Loveland police officer named Ray Shockey, which, fake name. A second Loveland police officer named Mark Matthews, fake name, reported seeing an unidentified animal crouched along the road in the same vicinity as Shockey's sighting. Matthews shot the animal, recovered the body, and put it in his trunk to show Officer Shockey. According to Matthews, it was a large iguana about 3 or 3.5 feet long, and he didn't immediately recognize it because it was missing his tail. Matthews speculated the iguana had been somebody's pet that either got loose or was released when it grew too large. According to Matthews, Shockey was shown the dead iguana and confirmed that it was the animal he had seen 2 weeks previously. Now, alright, a couple problems with this story. Number one.
How do you shoot an iguana?
How do you shoot an iguana, and, why? I don't know if you've ever seen an iguana, especially not an iguana that's in Ohio in March and has lost its tail. But all of those factors lead to a very lazy animal.
Yeah, and it's not traveling. It's not, cruising around the countryside.
It's not running across the road. And, how do you not know what an iguana is when you look at it? If a iguana runs across the road...
A 3 to 4 foot iguana is not, also not, spottable in the dark, right?
Also, iguanas don't run around at night. They're cold-blooded.
Oh, that's that adds to it.
At 1 a.m. in March, early March, in Ohio, I don't really buy this story, and this leads me to my conclusion that Mark Matthews is an MIB agent. Because this is the most bullshit MIB excuse I have ever heard.
Now, there's something very important on this Wikipedia page. In May 2014, the Loveland Frog legend was made into a musical titled Hot Damn, It's the Loveland Frog.
That's the most important thing I've ever heard.
That is the greatest musical format I've ever heard myself. like before you even get into the topic, you start with hot damn! Exclamation point, a full sentence.
Hot damn, there's a fiddler on this roof.
Yeah, that makes any musical better. Hot damn, Hairspray.
Hot damn, it's Hamilton.
Yeah. It also adds to it, yeah. Hot damn, it's Les Miserables.
Hot damn, The Lion King.
Yeah, Hot damn is killer. It's a bluegrass musical from what I can see.
Hot damn Cats actually makes... Oh, God. Move on.
Very little information exists for what this thing truly is, but I do not want to know anything about it, except for the cryptological phenomenon.
I still think it was MIB agents.
Yeah, this sounds like an alien sighting.
What sounds like an alien sighting?
Ah, right. Okay. So, where would you rank the Loveland Frog among our other features here?
I mean, it is kind of just an iguana with its tail missing that loves the cold and was released as a pet and loves to hang out at night and scurries across the road and hates the police. So I'm going to rank this at the top of the list. Gotta be. Because that's all the same things that I have. I don't have a tail, I like the cold, and I hate the police. But the Men in Black people are very nice and very courteous and definitely aren't responsible for this. I wonder why I even thought... I ranked the Loveland Frog pretty highly, actually. I think I might put it all the way at the top.
Yeah, I guess that's its final rating place.
This whole episode was final rating place.
Absolutely. And, yep, that's the end of the frog people. Those are all of them. Every single one.
That was Frog People, Warts and All.
Yeah. I hope you join us next time when we take the monster hunt to places that are not breathable by air or water.
That's true. And watch out for chytrid fungus.
You can find us on Twitter, Finding Monster Pod. And make sure that you sleep in a not damp environment tonight, or else they'll come and get you.
Music by Kevin MacLeod at Incompetech.com. We've forgotten to mention that for 4 episodes, and we're very sorry, Kevin.
All right, do you have any closing words for our audience?
Well, actually, I did have something to say. I think we've been going on this podcast for some time now, and I really wanted to reach out and say something meaningful to our audience, just a very sincere thanks. No, I don't really have any closing words that I can think of.
Okay, great. I will. Goodbye, everyone.
All right, you ready to record the episode?
Yep, here, let's do it.
All right, recording.
Recording.